Are you ready to perform at your highest potential? Welcome to the Performance Matters podcast from GP Strategies, your talent transformation partner. In each episode, we'll interview industry experts and explore best practices and innovative insights to help your organization improve performance. As we're heading into 2026, it's a great time to reflect on all the amazing conversations we've had in 2025 on the podcast. It's truly been an entire year of leadership, learning, and performance conversations that have impacted me personally, and I hope you as well. As a special thank you to you, I'd like to share my personal top 10 takeaways from this year, what you might call the best advice of 2025. It was a great trip down memory lane for me to curate this list. It made me really grateful for the connections I've made and for the bounty of wisdom shared by my guests. I hope you find as much value and inspiration as I did in putting this episode together. So here we go. The best advice of 2025, our top 10 takeaways. Takeaway 1, coaching is the leadership superpower. We kicked off the year talking about coaching and wow, did it resonate. Here's Lori Maison from Sounding Board sharing why coaching is a game changer for leadership development.
I think coaching became kind of like a buzzword in a way, and everybody wanted to call themselves a coach. The coaching that we do at Sounding Board, and I've done in my career, is specifically focused on leadership development. And it's a form of personalized development where you establish a deep relationship with another party that helps you take a look at your mindsets and your beliefs and things that, may be blocking you or keeping you from moving forward. This style of coaching helps you create new perspectives, new ways of thinking, and then links behaviors to that new thinking so that you fundamentally begin thinking and operating differently. In the leadership world, that's operating maybe a level or two higher than is actually your titling.
Thank you, Lori, for that insight. Bottom line, coaching isn't a perk, it's a performance multiplier. If you want leaders ready for tomorrow, start coaching today. Takeaway 2, upskilling and reskilling are non-negotiable. Next up, Dr. Cheryl Jackson explains why upskilling and reskilling are essential for organizational survival.
The skills landscape is shifting faster than ever. That is clear. It's been abundantly clear for some time now. And McKinsey tells us that 87% of companies are already feeling the pain of skill gaps. Now, when you add to that the World Economic Forum's prediction that 85 million jobs will be displaced by technology by 2030, but 97 million new roles will emerge, that is a lot of change and some really big numbers that we're talking about. And the takeaway here is that the workforce isn't shrinking, it's transforming. Companies must reskill existing employees for these new opportunities while continuously upskilling to stay competitive in this tech-driven world that is quickly coming upon us.
Thank you, Dr. Cheryl, for that powerful reminder. Skills aren't static, they're a moving target. Organizations that prioritize continuous learning will win the talent game. Takeaway 3, enterprise skilling is the new workforce strategy. GP Strategies' very own Chief Learning and Innovation Officer, Matt Donovan, and Senior Learning Consultant, Peggy Durbin, joined me to explain the meaning and importance of enterprise skilling.
When we talk about an enterprise skilling strategy, first of all, it's enterprise. What we're looking at is how it's going to help the organization achieve its strategic outcomes. So as it looks at having the right workforce with the right skills and the right position to achieve the goals of the organization, that's really what an enterprise skilling initiative is about.
So think about it as a spider web, and all the strands come out and it's skill. And think about a kid on a soccer team. It takes certain skills to play the game. And the thing that I would say, bring to the table when we talk about skills with our clients is the end game. It's the work output. And if you take that soccer analogy, it's the goal, and winning the game. So bringing that work output along with the skills that it takes to do a job And I would say also the relationships between those skills. The same, let's say, running skills for soccer would be the same running skills that you need for football. Although with soccer, you got to have speed, but you also have to be able to dribble the ball down the court with basketball, or I think they still even say dribble in soccer, but pass the ball. So you can use that analogy.
Thanks to Matt and Peggy for breaking that down. Enterprise skilling is about visibility and velocity, seeing the skills you have and moving them where they're needed most. Takeaway 4, Blended Learning 3.0 has arrived. Principal Learning Consultant Patrick Billingsley joined us to explain how AI is transforming blended learning into something smarter and more adaptive.
So briefly, traditionally, blended learning 1.0, we can call it, was thought of as a combination of digital and face-to-face learning. That expanded. So blended learning 2.0, which we've been talking about for some time, expanded to include social learning and coaching. And we had learner journeys with much more varied components, a more varied learning experience. Now with AI in the mix, we're entering the next wave, blended learning 3.0, where learning can become more personalized, more context aware. And it's not just about the delivery, it's about augmenting learning with AI to rethink how we can create smarter design.
Thanks again, Patrick. Indeed, Blended Learning 3.0 is here, and it's making learning smarter, faster, and more relevant. Takeaway 5, learning in the flow of work is the holy grail. GP learning design strategists Ella Richardson and Andrew Jolly shared why learning in the flow of work, or LITFOW, is the ultimate goal for performance support.
People learn through experience. So the closer you can get to the real work, the better, in my view. We often talk about like the contextual relevance. That's really important in being able to apply what you learn and what you can learn from that being as effective as possible. But I think we also need to be careful that we design for real learning and not just for knowledge supply for the work, because this is kind of the counter argument to that, or to balance it out, because we really need to develop people's skills and drive genuine behavior change, not just provide them with information. I think getting that balance right is quite challenging in design. But ultimately, we want to give people the opportunity to actively, participate in a real world activity, and then ensure that they can reflect and feedback so that they can make like genuine intentional adjustments and improve.
The ability of platforms that we now have that are AI driven to drive an absolute kind of focused personalization of need and response built on huge swathes of data, that would mean that systems can now sit beside us, as Ella mentioned, the super coach, as if they were the super coach sitting right beside us, giving us what we need, not just when we need it, but perhaps before we need it.
Thank you, Ella and Andrew. I am a believer. Learning in the flow of work turns training into performance fuel. Takeaway 6, resistance is a signal, not a wall. In our Gibson Guitars episode, Rob Ulrich, Senior Training and Engagement Manager at Gibson, and GP's Dr. Cheryl Jackson reminded us that resistance isn't something to fear, it's something to learn from.
Listening to concerns not only creates stronger advocates once that resistance is addressed, but when we listen and understand what's driving it, it can actually lead to better solutions. And that's what we saw very clearly here at Gibson.
There's so much that happened here over the last year with this project that it's hard to pin down just one element that was most critical, but certainly learning how to do the change management aspect almost with a tinge of marketing. So you're almost internally marketing the upcoming changes to your team in a way that invites them to participate. I think that's, for me, what was most critical. And I think about that, and I bring it up to say that my first real run-in with aggressive change was at a tractor engine assembly facility. Lean manufacturing showed up at the door, and we were not ready. But most importantly, we weren't made ready. Nobody really explained what was changing or why. The fallout was really rough. People quit. Leaders and team members butted heads, energy drained, commitment fell apart. And I was right there in it, frustrated and confused and asking why and getting no real answers. So The lesson that stuck with me from that is that change has to feel like it's happening with people, not to them. When I applied that in my current role with my leadership's complete buy-in and Cheryl's support and guidance, that change and marketing combination made the results night and day.
Thank you once again to Rob and Dr. Cheryl. My key takeaway, don't ignore resistance. Invite it in. It's not a wall. It's a window into what matters most to your people. Takeaway 7, 5 vital skills for leading in the age of AI. Nick Gervin, GP Senior Director for Leadership and Inclusion, shared the 5 essential skills leaders need to succeed in this new era.
This is where I get my list out, because we've been looking into this for the past year. And of course, the nuances are going to vary between industry and organization. But what we've seen through our research, through our lived experience, and quite frankly, through the sort of shifting expectations of modern teams, there are 5 consistent capabilities that are going to elevate leadership right now. So I'm going to start with business acumen. So business acumen is a leader's grounded, experience-driven understanding of how the business actually operates. So I don't mean on paper. I mean it's that insight that helps us understand what makes the organization tick. That might be the financial levers. It could be what I'll call the operational dependencies.
Thank you, Nick. 5 vital skills, 1 mission. Lead with confidence in a world of complexity. I invite you to check out the episode for the rest of the story. Takeaway 8. Resilience is a muscle. Build it before you need it. Leadership and coaching expert Leah Clark explains why resilience starts with well-being during steady times.
How do we create a sustainable way of maintaining our well-being, focusing on well-being during steady times, so that it's then easier to demonstrate resilience when things get rough? So we say, resilience and well-being, but for me, it's like, let's get the well-being addressed. And then when we need it during resilience, it's already a muscle that we've strengthened.
That is a wonderful point, Leah, and thank you for being on the show. Resilience isn't a quick fix, it's a culture. Takeaway 9. When values collide, learn to disagree well. Jeremy Lewis, GP Senior Inclusion Consultant, shared a powerful perspective on why inclusive workplaces require learning to disagree well.
Having that sort of harmonious team where there's a sense of belonging, people come together, it's not something that just happens, not by accident. And we need to work hard at it. A very good friend of mine said, creating an inclusive workplace isn't about being nice to each other and sitting around a campfire with a guitar and singing songs. It's actually about learning to disagree well. And I think it's a comment that sat well with me because it is about learning to disagree, learning to understand somebody else's perspective. It's recognizing that conflict's going to exist, that people are going to have different opinions, recognizing disputes. It's recognizing those collisions of values and fundamentals, but it's having conversations about them. And that can take a lot of hard work and effort, mostly because it's uncomfortable, but we shouldn't avoid it.
Thank you, Jeremy. Disagreeing well isn't just a skill, it's a leadership imperative. Takeaway 10, the corporate ladder is dead. Welcome to the lattice. Nick Gervin, Senior Director for Leadership and Inclusion, returned to explain why careers today look more like a lattice than a ladder. Geek out, that's what we're here for.
Okay, in that case then, let's talk about the general progression identity, because most of us recognize that traditional corporate ladder is becoming a thing of the past. These days, I prefer to talk about the corporate lattice instead.
Ooh, okay, wait, stop there. Instead of corporate ladder, corporate lattice. I just want to pause on that.
Yes.
That's cool. Tell us what that means. I don't quite understand it.
So visualize the idea of a lattice. Careers aren't just about going in one direction. We're not just climbing up that ladder anymore. Now, what we're doing is we're moving sideways or diagonally, or do you know what? We may even be pausing and we're not going anywhere on our lattice because we're deepening our expertise. And that's a good thing. Because if you take your friend, somebody who doesn't want to necessarily lead teams, just wants to be brilliant at what they do, amazing. Like, let's keep that person engaged, offer them different development opportunities that will help them develop in their current role. Because when we're doing that, not only are they going to be more motivated and challenged, but we're also going to cultivate our own in-house specialists.
Thank you, Nick. The lattice mindset is the future. Flexible, dynamic, and full of possibilities. Okay, there you have it. The best advice of 2025, straight from the voices shaping the future of work. If you loved this episode, share it with your team and subscribe to Performance Matters on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen. Until next time, keep learning, keep evolving. The Performance Matters podcast is brought to you by GP Strategies. You can subscribe to the show anywhere you get podcasts or listen on our website at gpstrategies.com.